racers, welcome to the eRacing Association, where you have the chance to win $5,000 in one of the best tournaments in all of sim racing. Green flag in the air.
Are you ready to reach the next level of sim racing? The eRacing Association's epic Omega Cup Series lets you win big.
Is he gonna throw the block?
Racing with ERA lets you compete for huge cash prizes, get exclusive merch, exclusive sim hardware pricing, and potentially turn your virtual dreams into reality. Feel the rush as you race door to door against sim racers just like yourself, all from the comfort of your own home.
Straight away, they're an idiot. Oh, they're wrecking! They're wrecking!
Join now to get your membership and experience all of the excitement that the eRacing Association has to offer at www.eragaming.gg.
Celebration, he hangs on.
Breathe. You got this. Remember your training. Focus on the one thing that matters. Winning. Okay. Now I'm ready.
Fire up.
24 hours on the clock. The world's greatest endurance motor race in the center of France.
Le Mans is different from any other race that you can think of.
Nice move, Felipe. You're the fastest car on track.
Endurance racing is all about resilience.
That's quite a hit into the tires, isn't it?
I think we should keep the soft tires. Negative, Felipe. Driver change and wet tires.
Here, you need to truly trust your teammates.
Se não tivesse parado para botar o pneu de chuva, a gente já tá liderando a corrida.
It's little things like that that can lose you the races.
I have to get back at the wheel again.
Porra!
Okay, Felipe. You're up.
What's the difference between a dream and reality? I know my life's on the line. Afraid? What else should I do? That's what winning Le Mans means to me.
America's forefathers didn't throw tea into the harbor so we could sit quietly on rooftops and drink champagne. They did it so we could be loud, so we could be free.
We don't come from royalty. We come from bootleggers and barn builders. We're about grit, fights for inches, and contact that counts.
A boat, a ferry, you know.
This is where you remember what it's like to feel something. This is Sunday at full throttle. It's loud, it's raw, and it's a damn good time. This is NASCAR. Our engines don't whisper, they roar. You want perfect turns and polite applause? You know where to find it. But if you want dust, dented fenders, and a place to let loose, we've got a seat waiting. Cooler's full, no dress code, and no velvet ropes. With your people, Heart Racing, strapped in, screaming your damn lungs out. This wasn't made to be tamed. It's made to be felt. This is NASCAR. So America, start your engines!
San Diego to host NASCAR, Naval Base Coronado.
When we learned it was going to be on the base, I was like, well, that's the coolest thing ever.
250th anniversary of the Navy and 250th anniversary of our country. Hands down, it was one of the best places we could be at.
Every great thing begins the same way. As an idea, someone can't let go. Not because it's easy, not because it's guaranteed, but because some ideas refuse to stay quiet. Long before the car, long before the colors, long before the world was watching, there was belief. Belief strong enough to carry years no one sees. The late nights, the closed doors, the moments where walking away would have been simpler. Teams like this are not built in a single season or a single decision. They're built with hundreds of hands, one shared heartbeat, and one shared idea. Engineer, designer, builders, dreamers, all working towards something we hadn't touched yet, but could already feel. This is the moment before the lights. Before the noise. Before history starts keeping score. We haven't raced yet, but make no mistake, Cadillac Formula One is here. And this is only the beginning.
Hey guys, I'm Indy Next champion Dennis Hauger, and you're watching Drafting the Circuits.
The NFL welcomes you to the Super Bowl 60 halftime show.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Drafting the Circus, brought to you by Sinista1 Productions. My name is Frank Santoroski. I'll be your host for the next hour as we go over everything racing. It's so good to be back in 2026. Joining me tonight, I've got Richard Youden, Jessica Chezrony, and a new guy, a new face on the panel here, Paul Flynn. How we doing, guys?
Good.
Doing great.
Happy to be back.
Yep.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. We'll get to talking to Paul here to see what he's all about here in a little bit. But I promise you, y'all going to like this guy. Not as much as you like Jessica, but you're going to like this guy. He's pretty sharp.
Oh, thanks. Cheers. Appreciate it.
Who's Richard?
Well, you caught that. Anyway, let me thank our sponsors, the ERA Racing Association, Jesse Iwuji. The new film coming out, IMAX film called Die For, and that's 2, the number 2, the word die, and then the number 4. That's produced by Rama. That's kind of hard to say, production company. And then the Cadillac Formula One team on board with us here as well as they begin their maiden voyage into Formula One. So, but we do have a guest with us tonight. We have Glen Reen, out of Massachusetts. He's driving in the ARCA Menard Series this year. He's run a lot of modifieds in the past. He's run some Xfinity races, and he's going to make his Super Speedway at debut at Daytona here next week. So, Glenn, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Glenn, something we like to ask all of our driver guests on here is like, what was the impetus that got you interested in racing when you were young? I mean, for some folks, family member, other folks just caught it on their own. So what was it that kind of drew you towards the sport?
It's really cool. I've been extremely fortunate. It's kind of a wild story. So my mom and dad both raced. They met at a racetrack, and my mom did a lot of like showroom stock, SCCA stuff. My dad did a lot of like Formula Ford, moved up to Formula Atlantic, and then moved up to Super V, and then up into IndyCar. And then in 85, I was born. And 4 years later, I got a go-kart for my 4th birthday, and that was it. Then we got a quarter midget at 5, and then I've raced ever since. So I don't think I had a choice.
Oh, okay, hang on, because my little boy is turning 4 in 2 weeks. So you're telling me I can buy him a go-kart for his 4th
100%.
birthday?
Yep. So the 4th
Let's
birthday,
go.
just so you know, the 4th birthday, we got the go-kart, and I flipped it. And that's when we were like, all right, he needs a quarter midget with full cage and belts. So, but I know out here you can do, I think at 4.5, they start like pushing him around the track to allowing them so you can get the gist of it. And then at 5, you can get them in a full blown quarter midget with, I think it's a Honda with a restrictor plate motor, and it's super safe. Like, hands down, I've already asked my girlfriend's kids, like, you guys sure you don't want to go quarter midget? No, not you sure? They're like, no, we're good.
Not even a box sprint.
Yeah, like anything, nothing.
I talked to a guy. I live here in St. Louis, and I talked to a guy with Margay Racing. They're one of the big kart manufacturers, and I asked him when I could put Asher in a kart, and he said, "Please, please wait until he's 5." So we'll see.
It's not a bad thing to get him. Like, even if you got, like, that's what they did. They got me started in a go-kart at 4 to get you the idea, and then like a lot of times we would do. We're near an Air Force base out here in Massachusetts, and back then, dude, it's amazing the stuff. I mean, we were next to the jets and no one said a word. And it would be raining, and we're out in this little IndyCar looking go-kart, which I'll send you guys a picture. I still have that and my quarter midget. I'm going to hang it on my wall in the new shop. But we would go out there in the rain, and he was like, all right, spin it out. And then I would have all this fun spinning it out. And then eventually he'd be like, all right, now try and save it. So at 4 years old, I'm learning how to catch a car, and I didn't know. It was just fun for me. And then when we got to quarter midgets, it was like, oh yeah, this is easy. So like, if you can somehow instill it like a game to have fun, but still be safe, like, obviously we got lucky when I flipped it that I didn't get hurt, but the cage is definitely where to go.
Yeah.
You
So
probably thought
you
that was-
kind of
You probably
Go
thought
ahead.
that was the greatest thing in the world when you flipped it, didn't you?
Oh, I was like, this is awesome. And my dad's like, uh-oh. Yeah.
That's where the hook comes from too.
Yeah.
you kind of touched on this, Glenn. I just glancing at your bio online, it sort of looks like you've raced absolutely everything. Like, if it has a motor, you've probably been in it.
Yep.
And I'm sure in some ways it, like, when you move from one series or one type of vehicle to another, I'm sure it sort of feels like starting over. But I wonder, like, how do you as a driver sort of translate what you've learned in one phase of your career into, something that will help you as you move forward?
That is a great question. So the biggest thing, and it's nuts, everything intertwines. I don't care what it, like, the best thing in my career I learned from motocross, right? When I was racing motocross, you look where you want to go. So you look way into that next corner, not at the front of the bumper. And a lot of these kids, and when I coach a lot of these kids still, like, they're staring at the hood pins. And I'm like, buddy, you can't be looking there. You got to look. So like, on like a local short track, right, I'll be going down the front stretch, and as I'm entering the corner, I've already scanned the whole corner all the way coming out of 2. So you're scanning for wrecks while you're doing it. And I think that's one of the things that helps me, to avoid a bunch of wrecks if possible. I mean, sometimes you don't have a choice, but I mean, that came from motocross, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's other things that come from endurance racing that has transferred over from a Miata into the ARCA car. And there's things from the modified that are completely useless. And there's other things that are like, how does nobody get this yet? So I think it's a really good thing. And you can't have those blinders on where, like, okay, this car, I'm not going to say names, but I just spoke with somebody last year, and Connor Zilich is the one that told me, hey, this is what to do. And I'm like, you got it. And, like, wrote it down, took notes, went to someone else, and I was like, hey, this is, what Connor just said. I know it's not the exact same car, but it's close. And, like, oh, that stuff doesn't matter here. I'm like, okay, cool. So, like, you can learn something from anyone. I would always, like, don't get me wrong, there's times where I've tried it and I'm like, yeah, that don't work. But, there's always a chance. So I try to learn from everyone, even if it's what not to do sometimes. So that's probably one of the best things I've ever learned.
It's interesting you mentioned the concept of sort of looking at the next corner, you know, always looking ahead rather than at the front of your car. This is going back 15, 20 years in my Formula One days. We put cameras on the inside of a driver's helmet to look at their eyes. And then we could map that to the camera above the driver's head. So we could see on the video where the driver was looking. And this may be on YouTube because we did
I've seen that.
A commercial thing. And to see where he's looking, you're like, where the hell he's looking, you know, he's looking at the field.
Right.
You know, he's not looking, you know, I'd be, as you say, you know, our natural instincts for people that drive road cars, you know, is to look right in front of you. But they're looking, you know, on the exit of the corner before they even get there. And
they've already scanned what you're now looking at, and they're looking
Yeah.
for the next one. It's amazing. Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's one of the things we always look at, the difference between a good driver and a great driver in racing. A good driver can react to what a car's doing. A great driver predicts what the car's going to do before it's even done it, because they're just in tune with it on another level. And it's kind of scary at times to listen to, you know, to great race car drivers discuss what the car's doing. And, you know, looking at the data, they're so in tune with it. It's phenomenal.
There was one race I remember, and it's funny, like you watch in-car camera when we're done, and they're like, hey, you remember that save off of 2? And I'm like, not really. And then they're like, look at the car so I'm looking at the data, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
And that to me baffles my mind. Like, it was like I was on autopilot. I don't remember, honestly, and that's not like I wasn't paying attention. It's just like it just happened, and I'm just
It's
like
second nature.
Yeah, you're just like whoop, whoop, done.
Yeah.
But to the counter, and everybody, and as you mentioned earlier, every driver's different. And I one of my teams I worked for in the past was the Honda F1 team, which eventually morphed into Mercedes after I left. And I still know a lot of people that are there, and I'm good friends with one of the engineers that worked closely with Michael Schumacher when he came back and did that 3-year stint with Mercedes. And you know, he wasn't at the top of his game, but his, you know,
amazing.
And I said, what was it like working with him? Because everybody wants to know. And he's like, the worst thing was when we went testing, because your test would be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. be track time. Then you do the media stuff, so you're getting your debrief at 6 o'clock. He wouldn't get out of there till midnight. And he would go through like every corner of every lap. He'd done 100 laps during the day testing. And he wouldn't look at notes. He would just be going through it in sequential order. And he could just have this immense recollection of like almost every corner of every lap, you know, entry, you know, apex, exit. And they said the guy was like a machine. And you know, then you get other drivers like, yeah, I got a bit of understeer. You know, cool, thanks. You know, or when you hear a driver on the radio going, "This thing's a pile of shit." It's like, okay, cool, great, thanks for the feedback. There,
I can work with that. Yeah.
We'll put in the anti-shit setting while we're at it, shall we? You know, sorry we forgot to do that.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just the mentality of a driver, and is that they're a different beast.
It was funny. That brought up one thing. It reminds me. I used to short track in the modifieds, and I remember one restart, and I looked over, and I'm like, "What the hell why is a purple light on in this guy's car?" Now, mind you, we're door to door at like whatever 100, and you know, inches off bumpers and Nerf bars. And then after the race, he comes up to me. He goes, "Hey, what the hell's that yellow light in your car?" I'm like, "That's my fan switch." I'm like, "What's the purple one in your car?" He's like, "That's my ignition switch." He's like, "You saw that?" I'm like, "I couldn't stop seeing it." Like, and there was another time, I think we were up at Youden in the modifieds. We were running down the backstretch. It was like 3 wide. I think I was middle row, like 3 or 4 cars back. And I remember, I mean, you're doing probably 150 to 160 at the end of straightaway up there. And I remember a helicopter took off, and I was like, "Hey guys, who do you think took off in a helicopter?" And they're like, "Can you please pay attention?" And I'm like, I am. I just have ADD where it's like I'm looking at everything. I'm like, "Hey, what's that?"
Yeah.
Glenn, I wanted to ask you about the modifieds. I know you spent several seasons with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, even scored a win there in 2011. I will go ahead and raise my hand and be honest and say I have never watched modifieds. Like I
Yeah.
Googled it earlier today
Yeah.
and I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Can you give me just like a quick crash course? Like, what are these cars like? How do they differ from like a cup car or anything else you've driven? What's the competition like? What sort of tracks do you race on? Like, just tell me.
They're insane. So they are still by far my favorite car that I've ever driven. So think of an IndyCar and a NASCAR that made a baby. That's basically what it is.
Because it's open wheel, right?
It's 2,600 pounds and it's 650 horse, and we have 15 inches of tire on every corner. Now, the whole car is offset to the left. So we have like 56% left side weight. So this thing, its ground clearance is 2 inches, and it's only when they check it. Like we basically coil bind or run platform. So it is unbelievable. Like you have a chrome, we call it the chrome horn. It's just a steel front bumper against an aluminum rear bumper and Nerf bars all around it. So when I tell you we bump draft, I mean, there is no like, when we're up at Loudon bump drafting and a restrictor plate, there's no, it's a 1 mile oval. There is no like, you drag your brake, you smash that guy. Like you're, right? There's no like, So it is still to this day the most fun car. It reacts like a go-kart. You point and shoot. You wait till the last possible second to brake. You turn the wheel. When we went to Bristol in the modified, we were I ran a 14.7 at a half mile. And you didn't lift. I'll never forget my crew chief came up to me right before the last mock qualifying we did, and he hands me 2 lug nuts. And I'm like, what the hell's this? I'm like, I don't know, like, why are you, were they loose? And he's like, no, you're going to need these. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you need to not lift this time. And I'm like, you want me to do what? He's like, I need you to try. He's like, do you think you can make it without lifting? And I was like, I'll let you know in 14 seconds. So you can do it 1 lap. You can't do it 2.
Yeah.
No.
But no, so the modifieds are just, they're short track. They came from old like 40s coupes and then evolved into like it's a modified production. And then it became where like, okay, well now it's a full blown tube chassis. Now we build the bodies now. And then everyone was always kind of like offsetting it further to the left because all we took were lefts. So now if you ever see a picture of the car, like if you were to take the car, it's basically like the whole car is offset and the right side tires hang way out and the left side tires are like tucked under the driver.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
if you ever get a chance, they're modifieds are crazy popular in the Northeast.
Yes, but everywhere else they're not.
Yeah,
Well, they're the
besides
cars
Bowman Gray.
They're the ones that actually work well at Bowman Gray and doesn't look like trying to ride a bicycle around your living room.
Right.
Like we saw last weekend.
Yes.
And they don't race in the snow as well, which tends to help.
Yeah, they need a plow most of the time when they do that.
Yeah, right. So you talk about racing up north. Are you pretty familiar with racing Ryan Preece?
Yeah. Him and I raced together for many, many years.
Okay.
Yep. I was pumped he got a good win there. That was good for him.
Yeah, that was good, especially with all the adversity he's dealt with in the past couple years now. Whether he had a ride or he was in an accident at Daytona and
grinding left and right. So it was good to see him get that was a well-deserved win for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that whole organization. I mean, that organization, RFK, I mean, they deserve it. They've been working their butts off and, and they finally got one. So that was good.
So out of all the cars that you've driven, which car do you feel like you get the most behind on or the most ahead of?
What do you mean by that?
So a lot of people say they get behind the wheel, like they struggle to really concentrate on the driving of it because they're at a specific track and they feel like they just can't gain speed like others. But then there's some where, like you said, it's just second nature. You hop right in and you're already ripping fast laps.
I feel like that's one of my strong suits, and a lot of people explain that. Like I just like, for some reason I can adapt, and again I think that's why people think I'm a ringer in road racing. Like I've only done 7 races. I just adapt well, and I think it's because I think it's because I never had a lot of money, so I didn't have a choice, right? Like I have to build the car, build the motor, build the transmission, build the rear end, so I understand how everything works. So now I don't beat things up because I have to fix them. So like I have to match my downshifts perfect. I only have so much brake pad life because I got to make sure those last for 2 races. So it's all those little things that if you understand how it works, you're going to drive it totally different than the kid that just has a checkbook and we blew a transmission, so it is what it is. So I think that does play somewhat of a role mechanically in that I have that gift from God, thankfully, that I just adapt everywhere we go. Like I went testing with a guy last year. I had never been to this track, Carolina Motorsports Park, really cool place.
Yeah.
He had been there. I showed up. I'd watched, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes of track. Still didn't even know the full layout of it. Went out and, set a time, and I was like unbelievably quick. And they're like, "You've never been here?" And I'm like, "Swear to God."
Did you lift in the kink on the backstretch?
Yeah, you got to lift in a kink in that ARCA car. Yeah, I didn't want to. I tried once at the end of the day when we were really getting pretty ballsy, and nope. Yeah, went off track. Yep. I was like, I bet you I could do it. I think we got this. And no, it's no. Yeah. In a modified, you wouldn't have to lift.
Oh no.
You could 100% make that. But that next right-hander would really suck.
Oh, that's yeah.
What does your preparation look like in anticipation of going to Daytona? That's something really different than what you've ever done. I mean, you do work or anything, or
here's the thing. Like I was just explaining to you, I don't have the money, but I won't be outworked. All night last night, all day this morning, and for the last 2 weeks, I've been watching video nonstop, hours and hours and hours of old, last 4 or 5 races. To the point where I built a spreadsheet and took all the last 6 years of racing, figured out the laps, when the cautions came out, what caused the cautions, who went laps down, how they get their laps back, and have come up with all this data for myself to try and just make it through. Last night, I spent 45 minutes on the phone with my good friend Carl Edwards, and we came up with all these, scenarios and this and that. And I asked him, I said, Carl, I need your help. Like I just literally spent, and everyone's gonna think I'm an idiot, almost all my retirement on this race so that I could not be on my couch at 60 and go, I wonder if I could have done that. So obviously I understand there's a risk that on lap 1 you could wreck it and it's all over, or even worse, like if it rains out in qualifying, you're gonna see one very upset Glen Reen. But I'm just trusting God's plan, and it's gonna be what it is. So he sat down and we spent 45 minutes going over, all right, if this was my kid, what would you tell him to do? And here's my scenarios. Here's what I have to work with. And we came up with a really good plan that is basically like the old Mike Tyson line, right? Like everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. So he's like, you'll have a great plan until the green flag drops, and then good luck.
Yeah. I'm sure that racing at Daytona is obviously it's a big deal. I'm sure it's a dream come true. But as they say, first you have to qualify, and right. You sort of talked about this. I think I read that there are 50 cars on the entry list for 40 starting positions. Is that right?
Yep. I believe. Okay. I don't know the exact number, but I know there's a lot.
So I'm curious that you've talked about, and listen, I love a driver that loves data. That's awesome. But do you get any sort of on-track preparation? Will there be any practice sessions yet this week, or do you just go straight to the important stuff, straight into qualifying?
So we had a test January 9th. We went down 9th and 10th. My teammate made it to the 9th. I couldn't make it to the 9th. I made it on the 10th. So we already have some, and this is weird. I've done the test with ARCA back in 2009 when Justin Allgaier just got hired by Penske. I didn't have any money. His parents are amazing. They told me, buy a set of tires and come do the test. So I did it back then. I think we were, I'm trying to remember. I think we were 8th fastest in single car runs, and we were 1st fastest in drafting practice. So I had done it, but that's back when the track was super bumpy. Didn't have any money to run the race. Tried everything I could. I mean, scratch and claw, and never made it, which it is what it is. And then to have this to come back. So at least I'd already kind of knew what was going on. I'd also run the Coney Challenge race here in 2009. for right before the Rolex race. Ran that. We qualified 10th in that race. Unfortunately, got booted out of the way in turn 1 on lap 5 or 9, which sucked. Straight in the fence. So that I didn't even get a chance to run that race. And then we went down for a 14-hour endurance race in a champ car. I bought a Miata, and I'm like, guys, we're going to Daytona. And we rebuilt this entire car, went to Daytona. We finished 12th after blowing a transmission up. And it was my car owner at the time, and I told him, buddy, this isn't a Jericho. Like, we have to use clutches in this. You got to be easy on it. And he was like, hey, yeah, no problem. And it wasn't 15 minutes. The poor guy, it won't shift into 5th anymore. I'm like, did you grind it? He's like, yeah, just once. I'm like, that's it. It's over. So that was a rough day. But so this is like not my first time at Daytona, but it's my first time in the super speedway part of it. So the test went really good on the 10th. We got a lot of good data. We made a bunch of changes. And it's kind of a cool story. So we were there and the car kept shutting off at 7,100 RPM, 7,137 to be exact. And my teammate had drove it the day before, but unfortunately he shifts a little earlier than I do. So thankfully we found it on a test, because if that reared its head during a restart, you'd be done. Like, that would be horrible. So me being a guy that works with engines, I'm like, all right, the dash never went out. It's still reading RPM because it just shut off. Like, it was like someone killed the kill switch, but it's still reading RPM, which tells me the cam sensor's still working. So I come in and the Ilmor guys, what's going on? So Ilmor has a deal where you can't touch the motor. Ilmor you own the motor, but Ilmor, they touch everything. So guy comes over, says, what's going on? I said, I think it needs a crank trigger sensor. He's like, excuse me? And I'm like, well, here's the thing. I'm like, the dash never went out, so that means the power's not out. So that means it's not a positive or a ground, and it's still reading RPM, so it tells me that it's not a cam sensor. So it's probably a crank sensor. And he just starts laughing. He's like, all right. So he changes the crank sensor, goes back out. Perfect, no problem. So we go back out, and that saved us because, if you don't know that stuff, that's 2 or 3 hours dicking around in a test that you don't have that time back. So we go out. I think we did all single car runs with the exception of like 6 laps at the end of the day. We did some tandem drafting with our teammate, Andy J. And the car ran great. Everything was good, but we weren't playing the game of like, everyone wanted to go out and pack draft to put up a great line or a lap. But first of all, I don't care. Like, I want to know what the car is doing now. I don't want to go risk it because we only have 2 of them. So if I wreck it, we don't have a shot to go. So we just played very conservative. We wound up 16th out of 53 that day, which is fine with me. And if I had taken my teammates drafting from the day before, when he did like an 8-car pack, it would have put us like 4th or 6th, somewhere in that for our Saturday. So I'm like, that's close enough. So I think we got a decent car. It's just now it's the whole, if I showed you all the statistics, I just realized it's not good. As Carl Edwards said, he goes, I've wrecked from first, and I've wrecked from last, and I've wrecked everywhere in between. He goes, the only safe spot at a super speedway is on the couch.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So Jessica, you missed this pre-show, but you'll be interested to know little IndyCar tidbit. Car Glen's running in the ARCA race, the car that Elio Castro Nevis ran in the ARCA race a couple years ago.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
that's got some good juju on that one then.
Yeah. But hey, finished second, so let's hope we get some luck out of that.
Doing one better.
I just don't want to finish second how bad his car was wrecked. I mean, I guess I really don't care how it finishes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But that poor guy, I think, was involved in every single caution.
Yikes. Glen, I have one more question for you. And I always I love to ask people this question, and not just people in the racing world, but really anybody. Let's say that we have you back here on the podcast in 5 years or 10 years from now to catch us up on your career. What do you hope that you'll be able to tell us then that you've accomplished in that time?
That's a really good question. I would, I know I'm getting to the end of my age, which is unfortunate. Like, I was laughing because I was driving in the car earlier today, and I'm like, man, 20 years ago, I started in the NASCAR modifieds, right? And I'm like, if I could go back and tell myself, hey kid, don't worry about it. I know you just had a bad wreck or a bad week or a bad race or whatever. Like 20 years from now, you're gonna make it to Daytona, and you're already gonna be driven Xfinity cars, and you're already gonna had a fourth place finish in ARCA, and you're gonna have a win in the Tour. You're gonna win a championship in the late models. Like, but at the same time, if you tell yourself that, you're not gonna work as hard. So I was trying to explain this to someone earlier. Like, I'm almost grateful in one sense that I didn't have it back then, but at the same time, I see like Connor Zilic and all these kids that are 19 and 20 years old, and I'm like, that was my dream. That's all I wanted, was to have been in that at this level at that age, to where you could keep growing. So 20 years from now or 10 years from now, I'm probably going to be a washed up business owner that still plays on the weekend, but hopefully we'll have a win in ARCA or Xfinity at least at that point. I'm guessing my cup days are probably behind me. Just didn't ever have the funding for it, but I still am extremely grateful. And I take, like, Daytona will be a dream come true. So my goal is I already told my team, I don't care if we win, lose, or draw, we are partying like crazy Saturday night, right? Like, you have to party. I mean, think about that. You worked 20 years to get here, whether the outcome is irrelevant, like, you made it. So, I think you got to cherish those moments and like take it all in, because this could be my last Daytona ever, or it could be the first of, 20 or 30 more. I have no idea. So I think that's the one thing that kids miss. I'll never forget Carl Edwards in 2017 when I was running for the championship. He kept telling me the fun is in the battle. And I kept being like, what are you talking about? Like, I want the trophy, man. He's like, you'll see. And he's not wrong. I look back and I laugh, because that was probably the best season of my life, as far as like, we were battling back and forth with 3 guys for the wins in the championship. And I have not touched that trophy, God's honest truth, since 2018. It's just sat there and collected dust. So if I could tell a kid coming up, like, the fun is in the battle. Enjoy the battle. And the first thing you need to do after a championship or a win is go thank that competitor, because without him, you wouldn't have a battle. So,
Yeah,
for whatever that's worth.
In lots of sports, you hear people say, and sometimes they don't genuinely mean it, but sometimes, they'll say, you learn more losing to a good competitor than beating a bad competitor.
Yep. That's 100% accurate. And I think it humbles people. Like, sometimes, and I see it and I feel bad with some of the kids I sponsor now. Like, I try to pay it forward, and I sponsor some kids in Quarter Midgets and other places. And there's one kid in particular that I remember, and the kid was winning everything. Like, I was helping him out. We started doing setups. He went undefeated a year. Like, he set track records, and then he moved up. And all of a sudden it was, what do you mean we're not, and I felt bad, because it's not even his fault. That's all he knew. So, and I tried to explain to him, like, dude, do you realize how many races I run a year? And I'm thrilled to win 2 or 3. So just think, I mean, it's like golf, right? Like, the best golfer in the world is only going to win like 12% of his tournaments.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Oh yeah, it's certainly, you look, it's not, not every race series is like Formula One, where you get one guy dominating, winning, 12 out of 20 odd races. And, you look at the Cup Series, if a driver gets 5 wins out of 36, he's had a dominant year. And, it's, you ask any of those 40 guys that take the green flag at Daytona and the 500 on Sunday, they'll all take 5 wins in a year. Unless you're Denny, who'll want the trophy. He doesn't give a shit how many races he wins now. He just wants the damn trophy.
That poor guy. He's got a curse on him or something.
Yeah, he's had a rough time of it.
Yep.
All right, so Glenn, we're coming to get up against the end of our time slot here. I think we're probably a little bit over, so we got to do the green white checker with you. So I want to give you an opportunity to plug your sponsors, tell our viewers where they can find you on social media, plug your business, get some business on there. You need more money to get to the next race.
Yeah, we're trying, man. The biggest thing you guys can do is go give us a follow on Reen Racing 17 on Instagram and Glen Reen on Facebook. That helps me, and New Wave Bath. There's an Instagram page for my business as well, but mainly the Reen Racing page is huge, because the more followers you have, and I'm learning with these sponsors and stuff, like it doesn't matter what they want to know what you can do for their business. So if I can post something and I get it in front of, 5,000 people, it's easier for me to get a sponsor than if I only have 2,500 followers. So unfortunately, I've slacked because I've always had my head under the hood and building cars, and I never was on social media. Like I think I had 1,500 followers at the beginning of the year, and now I'm up to 17 and change. So it's helping, but I'm not there yet. So anything you guys could do to help me to get some followers, that would be huge, huge. But New Wave Bath is my company. If you live in New England and you're looking for a bath remodel, check us out online at newwavebath.com or give us a call at 860-999-WAVE. Manor at Kenswick is actually, if you go to Manor at Kenswick.com, it's a huge lakefront living property that the gentleman has sponsored me. He also owns Chesapeake Structures. He's out of Maryland, and this guy's just helped me out and chasing a dream. Westfield Electric Motors been a huge one. A Plus Bonding, they're a bonding company out of Connecticut. And then we've had a couple other, like the Cup Charity Series, and there's another gentleman. I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but a lot of great people have just helped me get to where I am, and it's just, I'm so grateful. And as a business owner, it totally makes sense. Like all these people help me, and like you guys, like you have no idea how much this means to me to be on the show, because I get to tell my story, and people don't know who I am because I'm never here. Like I'm always under the hood, or I'm under the car scaling it, or doing that. So it means a lot to me. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can come back and tell you how it went, and hopefully I'm holding that trophy that's going to get dust for the next 18 years. I'm not going to look at.
We'd love to have you back on. So, but thank you so much. Good luck this weekend. I mean, we'll all be tuned in watching.
Yeah, it's live on Fox at Saturday at noon on Fox. We'll be in the 07 ARCA car, and it's white and blue, and see if we can go make some waves.
Awesome. We'll be pulling for you.
Thanks, guys.
We will definitely be cheering for you.
Perfect.
Story's incredible, man.
Here's a question I have for you guys real quick. What would you do? And I want everyone to answer. At the end of a race, you win Daytona. What do you do? Do you celebrate? Do you burn it down? Do you drive around? Do you do the Polish victory lap? What's your Do you want to hear mine first?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
It kills me to see these kids burn them down, because I know the amount of work that goes into that.
Oh yeah.
And what has to
Okay.
come after that.
I'm glad
But you
you
know
said
why?
that, because
You
I
know
thought
why
maybe,
they burn them down, though.
Oh, I know why.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that was just a me thing, but like I hate seeing. To me that is disrespectful of the
Yeah, to the
machinery
equipment.
and
Yeah.
and the track too. Like I hate
Yep.
seeing the burnouts, but I don't know. I would probably pull a Connor Zillich and topple off the roof of the car and break myself. That's
Poor
what I would do.
Connor. I was at Phoenix with him after that, and he's like, we're sitting in the hauler, and he looks at his phone. He goes, "Ah, damn it!" I go, "What's that?" He goes, "I thought we were over this shit." He turns it around, and it's a meme of him falling. And I was like, "You poor
Never.
bastard."
Gosh.
No, he'll never live that down. But dude was lucky that wasn't worse than it was.
He is such a good kid too. Like he doesn't have to. He messages me at Christmas, "Merry Christmas, dude," and it's like he is the next real. Like he will be the next real deal. That kid is awesome.
Yep, heard a lot of good things.
I would do it just Newgarden and go running high five fan.
All right, I like that.
Much
That was
as
awesome.
he's a Newgarden fan, that was just a cool move when he did that after 500. Yeah.
I think I would get, like, in my head, as I've dreamt this up for the last month, I would park in victory or start finish line, go grab the flag. Now, my first win, sorry to all the fans, I'm taking that. That is my checkered flag. After that, I'd be happy to give it away. But I would probably take my girlfriend and her daughter, who's coming to the race, and do Kyle Larson and just drive around and take it in, something cool, do a Polish victory lap, wave to everybody. Because you got to remember, all those fans, they don't ever get to see the actual driver, right? They're flying by. So, like, it'd be cool to me if my hero back in the day is Jeremy McGrath. Huge, huge fan of Jeremy McGrath. So, like, if you had a chance to see the guy with his helmet off, it'd be like, oh, there he is, So I think that would be something I would do. And then I would probably Noah Gregson it through the through the infield afterwards, celebrating with everyone.
Well, we look forward to seeing that on Saturday.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm similar. I know how much effort goes into building these cars, so I'd want to wrap that thing up and, treat it with the love and respect it deserves, because they're a fickle beast at the best of times, and if you abuse them, they
bite
don't
you.
always play nice. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't they just?
Man, I would totally just do the normal celebration, keep it basic, but then definitely go celebrate with friends and family. I come from drag racing, where drag racing is a big family sport.
Yep.
Everybody's friends, everybody's family to each other, and we all celebrate together. Like you said burn the house down. Like I'm thinking we're burning down the pits or something. just partying it up, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's what I would do.
Carl asked me, he's like, if you win, you think you can pull off a backflip? I was like, nope. You want to see me break my neck? Check it
Not
out.
worth
I'm
it.
gonna jump with my hogs on.
Exactly.
No,
All
that's great.
Well, best of luck to you this weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Very
We'll
much appreciated.
That good. And again, we'll all be watching. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks,
Pleasure
guys.
meeting you. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
And we're back. Yes, that was Glen Reen. Again, he'll be running at Daytona in the ARCA this week. What a pleasant interview. What a very articulate guy right there. I really enjoyed talking to him. So since we were talking NASCAR with Glenn, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in NASCAR. And there's one bit of news, something that we're not going to see in NASCAR anymore. That's been a stalwart, it's been a regular in the Cup Series since 2007, but we see that we're not going to see this in 2026. And of course, I'm talking about Joey Logano's hair. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, right, when this guy came in the series, right, he's this tall, lanky kid with a head of hair. He looked like he'd be the captain of the chess club rather than be a NASCAR driver, right? Now, after years of struggling with hair loss and doing commercials for Hair Club for Men, he's finally decided to go and get rid of all. He looks like Walter White. So now his badass look is going to match his aggression on the track. So watch out for Joey Logano.
So we've confirmed it's not a bald cap. He did shave his head.
It looks pretty real.
His head, yeah. It was getting pretty thin. For a while. But yeah, so but I thought that was fun, So anyway, so talk about some other companies. We've got the Clash was held at the Bowman Gray Stadium. Snow delays pushed it all the way to Wednesday to get started. And you guys were watching it. And I was we were zooming together when you all were watching it, and I could just tell I wasn't gonna go bother watching it.
Yeah, it was just to paint a picture for the viewers. We're we're on a meeting, like trying to get some stuff in order for our season premiere. And
you can tell how well that worked.
Yeah, Paul, Richard, and I were just glued to our phones, laughing hysterically over this race. And poor Frank was like trying to bring us back in. But man, it was like a train wreck. You just couldn't stop watching.
Yeah. So
wasn't NASCAR's finest hour.
I mean, I think we need to get the Clash back to a larger track. I mean, the Coliseum was fun and all, but again, the quality of racing was about what you saw at Bowman Gray.
I think Bowman Gray's. I think when you break it down, the racing was actually reasonable. The problem is the farce that NASCAR unfortunately seemed to make of it, with every lap was a racing lap, so caution laps didn't count. They red flagged it for wet weather tire change, but it wasn't. Wipers weren't mandatory, so nobody had a wiper on. So they were driving around on wet weather tires with no windshield wipers in the spray, and the windshields were fogging up. I think most of the drivers did have a defogger in there, but it was just messy. It really was, I hate to say it was amateur hour. And
reminded me of when they ran the trucks at Bristol on the Bristol dirt track. and it had rained.
Yeah.
And after 2 laps, everyone had a windshield caked with mud. Nobody could see a damn thing. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I
I
actually
think-
went to that race.
Did you get?
I didn't watch any racing because they called it.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it was a shame. It's a shame because if the racing was as it was, without all the other mess, it was actually a reasonably competent race, and Ryan Preece drove a great race to
Agreed.
get his first, although non-season win, but first cup level win and first win for RFK for quite some time. But yeah, thankfully all that's finished with, and we can move on.
We can move on. Yeah. So, and the other thing that's over with is the NASCAR 23XI lawsuit has been settled in favor of 23XI. So we're going to begin a period of what they call evergreen charters or permanent charters. And the judge, found that NASCAR was, to a certain extent, certain practices, a monopoly. So, Richard, what's the feeling in the garage over the?
I think fundamentally there's relief. Obviously, it's out of the way with. There were certain things that came to public that probably weren't particularly complimentary on anybody's front. Steve Phelps, who was one of the senior managers at NASCAR, he's resigned or left or whatever the official terminology is. There was some pretty derogatory text messages that came out that he'd made, that he'd sent, that became public. And I think it got to the point where, from a NASCAR's perspective, the writing was on the wall, and to save face, they settled. So there was, further damning evidence didn't come to light, but basically now we're operating a franchise system. That as I said, these are permanent charters. People like Legacy, who bought a third charter towards the back end of last year, they're loving life right now, because although they paid a considerable amount of money for that charter, they've probably trebled in price on the ruling of this court case. So they struck it just right. Rick Ware, who they bought the charter from, probably doesn't feel quite the same. But I don't think there'll be too many sleepless nights for Rick Ware's financial well-being.
Yeah, I was about to say, I could say he made off pretty well with his
he's
sales
done
of
right for himself,
charters.
hasn't he? Oh yeah. But no, I think it's good that it's come to it's settled. I think that as we saw, a lot of the teams were in support of the work that 23XI and Front Row undertook, but they didn't have the, put it bluntly, they didn't have the balls to go and do it. Not many, none of the NASCAR team owners have pockets like Michael Jordan does, basically. And you look at his history in sport and sport litigation. He doesn't take. He's not going to have his pants pulled down by anybody in a hurry. And as I've said on this show before, NASCAR in a way have been a victim of their own success here. They've had this model which has been designed to suit their needs, should we say. And over the last few years they've courted new money, new investment, and new new blood into the sport. And of course, they got this huge coup when they bought Michael Jordan in, and with Denny Hamlin and there's other groups that came in to fund 23XI, and they were very keen and very proactive to shout about that investment. And within 2 years, they came back to bite them pretty quickly. So you got to be careful what you wish for to that extent. But as Michael Jordan, he's no mug. He's not going to give away money, without the necessary return. And so I think now we've lines been drawn in the sand. Everybody knows where they sit, and hopefully we can move forward. And I think sometime this week, or the Speed Week of Daytona anyway, NASCAR always has like a State of the Union address sort of thing to detail where the sport is and where it's going. So it'll be interesting to see how they spin the the court case, because I'm sure that'll come up pretty quickly in the press conference.
Sure will, yeah. So, does anybody do we want to pick a winner for the Daytona 500? I know that the plate races are always a crapshoot. So, Jessica, who do you like in Daytona?
I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my good old standby and go with Kyle Larson. Also, that's a shout out to my Uncle Clayton, who I recently learned Kyle Larson is his absolute favorite driver. So
there you go.
Jess, you had one job. You had one job, Jess. Any Toyota, you could have picked any Toyota driver, and you had one job. You could have picked any of them, but no, you picked Kyle Larson. There you go.
You can pick
Thanks.
any Toyota driver.
Toyota driver do you think is going to win at Daytona?
Which one do I think? It could be, I'm not going to complain. Paul, sorry. Yeah.
Well, are we allowed to pick exactly a driver?
As long as you pick a Toyota one, we're good.
Yeah. I mean,
don't you dare say Kyle Larson. Holy shit, will we have a problem if you do?
No, sorry, I can't go that far. I'd say Toyotas were pretty strong last year. They were able to qualify well, and they were actually able to lead a pack, which has been pretty rare in the past couple of years.
Read your name.
I'm gonna say let's go with Chase Briscoe.
Chase Briscoe.
Okay.
He qualified #1 last year.
Yep.
We'll see where he's at this year.
I'm going to go with Reddick because I spent about 6 hours trying to fix a bug on his car on Friday night. So if that little shit doesn't win a race right now, it's a waste of my time.
Well, did you fix it or not?
We did. We fixed it. Yeah. It was all good to go.
All right. So I'm going to, the thing about the plate races is you can either be really lucky to win it or be a really good plate race. There are some guys out there that are really good plate racers, and some guys that are just lucky. So I'm going to go with the guy who's a really good plate racer, but he's also been very unlucky at Daytona. And I'm gonna say Brad Keselowski.
It's a good pick. He's been reinstated.
He has, yeah.
Yep, as you've got his driver's license back. All right, so Jessica, let's talk about IndyCar. Look, the big news is that we've added a race to the calendar in our nation's capital. The what we call the Freedom 250.
Freedom 250, yeah, announced just a couple of weeks ago with the signing of an executive order, which has to be the first time that's ever been said about an IndyCar race. So the Freedom 250 will take place August 21st to 23rd that weekend. And yeah, like Frank said, it's an 18th points paying race in the 2026 season. It will not be taking the place of another event, which, was something that people were concerned about when it first got announced. On the one hand, I think that's great. We don't lose a race. On the other hand, I don't know. To me, it's kind of crazy to just throw this on the calendar last minute. Another brand new track on top of, we've already got Arlington and Markham, creating an absolutely insane last month of the season for the teams. Because you've also got the Milwaukee doubleheader in there. So it's something like 6 races in 5 weeks. And we're just going to go ahead and have a count for points. But, that's what we're doing. So here we are.
So they've been talking about a DC race for more than a year. So
yes.
Some of that groundwork is laid.
Yes.
The one thing about this event is, a lot of times when you try to do a free race in a big city, you run into a lot of red tape, a lot of resistance from environmental groups, a lot of NIMBY, like NIMBYs in Boston, kept them from getting the Olympics a couple years ago, kept them from getting the IndyCar. Why they can never get the Grand Prix of New York, New Jersey off the ground.
Right.
Red tape, environmental group of NIMBYs. The fact that the president signed an executive order slices through all that bullshit and allows them to do what they need to do. I mean, is it a great idea to do it? I don't know.
Right. So it slices through the red tape, but it's
going to be free. If you happen to be in DC, pop on in and see the race.
Yeah.
So nobody's making money off this thing.
Well, and it's costing the teams, right? That's another race that they have to prepare for financially. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, like you said, that the executive order does cut through that red tape, but it doesn't change the fact that like a street race, a street course is tricky. Like designing and building an entirely new street course is a big undertaking. And yeah, they have been, the planning's been underway since last summer. But like my thing is with a street course, like you get one shot to get it right. Like it's not like they're going to shut down the entire DC Metro a few times between now and August so they can like build a track and test it and tear it down and try it again, right? Like you've got one chance to get it right on race weekend when the eyes of the world are on us. And like, it's like, yes, it has the potential to be really great for IndyCar. I'm not denying that. It already has, and it will continue to bring a ton of attention. Hopefully it's going to draw a big TV audience. I know some of the teams are saying that like their phones are ringing off the hook in terms of sponsors wanting to come out and be on the cars. Listen, it's going to be really damn cool to see Indy cars racing on the National Mall. Like no one's disputing that, but like it has to be safe. It has to produce good racing. If it's a crash fest or a processional or just a crap race, like it doesn't matter how many new viewers tune in because like they're not going to stick around for the next one if it wasn't any good.
Oh yeah, look up first year Nashville.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, with Nashville, half of the grandstands weren't built by the time the fans got there.
Yep, I went to that race. Actually, I went to it 2 years in a row. The first year and then the
Remind
second
me,
year.
if I ever find out Paul's going to a race, I'm not going because by the sounds of things, everyone you've been to turns out to be.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Think about Nashville too, though, right? Like there were things, and we've talked about this on this show before. Motorsports is great about being reactive, not always fantastic about being proactive and forward thinking, right?
Yep,
so there were things about the Nashville track that they found out during the race, right? During that first race weekend. And for the second year, there were things about the track that had to be tweaked and changed to improve the racing product. This is a one and done.
Like every new street course first year has the growing phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a 1 year deal as well, isn't it? This is a one-time done thing.
This is a one and done. Yep.
So I mean, you've got things like, see, to me, it sounds awfully rushed. I go back to when we went to Singapore for the first time in Formula One. With Williams, the cars kept shutting down in a certain stretch of the track, and we didn't understand why. Turns out there was a high voltage power cable under the road, and it was causing interference in our gearbox sensor, and the gearbox was thinking it had dropped all the gears out and shut the car down. Putting in where are you going to put the paddock? How's that the paddock layout? This thing's 6 months away. We haven't even seen a track layout yet.
Yeah.
I've got a horrible feeling. I've got a horrible feeling that at some point something's going to come along that's going to nix it, and it's all going to come back, and IndyCar is going to be the one that takes the fall for it because the guy that announced it sure as hell ain't going to take the fall for it.
Exactly. And that's what I'm concerned about. Whether that happens or it is, a crap race or there's, somebody gets hurt or something, like I am afraid that it's going to end up reflecting poorly on IndyCar rather than the other way. But, I mean, we can hope. I hope it's good. I hope it's worth it.
Sim racers, welcome.
Deserve a Cadillac, but I mean, they do have a pretty good, sports car racing program. But I don't know if gone with Chevrolet or, but anyway, it is what it is. We'll see how they do at the track. And Richard, when is the first Formula One race? We still got a couple.
Early March, first weekend of March. So we're less than a month away now. The first Bahrain test is as this is being broadcast today. We'd have already had the first day. We're recording Tuesday. Sorry to fool anybody there with production trickery. But we can't see into the future. I can't tell you who's going to be fastest on the first day of the Bahrain test. Sorry.
Right. So, Paul, what's going on in the NHRA?
Well, what isn't going on in the NHRA is what I gotta say. So they're in their 75th anniversary season. With that being said, what comes with it is whenever you win, you get a diamond Wally. You don't just get the bronze, golden looking Wally. You get a diamond one. So it's a shiny
Okay.
figure, but you also get a diamond base to it. So
Let's go. I want one of those.
it's a bad time for me to get out of the sport because that'd be cool to have on my shelf.
Yeah.
And you know what comes? Go ahead.
You know, Slugger's going to get his hand on one of those.
Oh, he will, and I'll try
Yeah,
to figure. I'll try to figure out how I could get one too.
One of our former NHRA director is an ex NASCAR guy that I've worked with in the past, and he knows how to make the world go around.
Yep, and I'm sure him and Glenn know each other too. I would
they
not
probably
be
do.
Surprised.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, so it comes with the 75th anniversary also is more purse money, which is huge for the NHRA and NHRA teams. They spend the whole year trying to win these races. Like you guys said, NASCAR, a 5-win season is huge. Well, in drag racing, maybe a 1, 2, 3-win season's huge, and whenever you win, you actually make more money. So competing and performance is everything, and making more money and having a bigger purse is going to be huge for the sport overall, and it could be good for growth too.
I could have felt we were going to see some decent growth once Mission Food signed on replacing Melody Elevator. Mission Food is, I mean, they're big in the racing. They're involved in IndyCar. They're involved with motorcycles, involved with NHRA. So, good for the NHR snagging them as bidding sponsor.
Oh yeah, of course. Once the Missions Foods came in, they created their own challenge, which actually gave money on the weekends as well. So instead of just qualifying, you're actually racing on Saturday during qualifying, and if you actually won the Mission Foods challenge, you won $10,000. So winning $10,000 goes a long way for a lot of the guys who bust their butts every weekend. What also comes with the 75th anniversary though is John Force retires.
Right.
That's one of the biggest stories of drag racing right there, and he'll get recognized next year in 2027 for his 50 years of being within the NHRA. And it's sad because with
quite a character. I've always really liked that guy. So.
Yeah, John Force was the face of the sport. He was the voice of the sport. He was the character of the sport, and
of course. What? Nobody.
Yeah.
Sorry, you broke up there.
He's quite a force.
Yes, he was. And all the girls are out of it too now, right? So there's no force in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
at least Frank's microphone shut off with the terrible joke.
So to go on with what Jess said, Brittany Force is actually hopping out of the seat. She's the final daughter. She is going to start her family, as did Courtney and Ashley both. So there is no Force name racing and drag racing right now. How is it going to sustain via the fans? How is it going to sustain itself? Well, we just need the new blood to come in, which comes with NHRA silly season. So Josh Hart will be taking over that car now. And Josh Hart's just a solo business owner out of Florida that just ran a full-time season the past 2 years, running his own operation and taking Brittany's seat. He gets in the fastest seat, 340 miles per hour. Maybe 5 times last year. That's by far the fastest car out there. And then big one, Austin Prock, two-time championship winner. He is he's left John Force Racing. Just to tack on the John Force Racing name, he's left John Force Racing. Now he's going to be racing for Bob Tasca. And with that being said, his whole family went with him. So none of the championship crew chiefs that were also there, they're no longer there as well, which led to an open seat and probably the most sought after seat in NHRA drag racing, which was the Cornwell Funny Car seat, just to be a teammate of John Force group with Jack Beckman also driving for them. Jordan Vandergriff hops into that seat. So we have a lot of young people coming in, which is good. It's great for the sport, great for the great for the vision of the sport and the future and the people trying to get involved and understand what's going on.
All right, so we're like 20 minutes over our time, so we
Good
good
start.
Oh, I
Good
could
start
go
to the year.
on. I could go on, Frank. I got
listen,
so
man.
much.
He cut 3 of my topics, so you don't get to talk anymore.
Well, how many weeks do we start the NHRA season?
So the NHRA season starts at Gainesville March 6th.
March 6th.
They are currently going to testing next week.
We got a couple of weeks coming up here where we got one NASCAR race to talk about. That's when we'll fill in all the additional Formula One, IndyCar, and NHRA topics before the season gets going. But for now, we've got to get going. So I want to
mention, I want to piggyback off of what Richard said. We are recording on Tuesday, so please forgive us if any, massive news breaks on Wednesday that we don't get to cover on the show. Blame Richard.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I got a flight to catch on Wednesday.
You might as well.
Richard works.
Might as well also mention, we've changed our Twitter name for like the third time since we've been in existence, but it's going to be at Drafting Pod. So if you're following us on Twitter or X and you were following one of the older ones, go ahead and slap on over to the new one. Go ahead and give us a follow. Again, we're still on Facebook, Instagram, all that other stuff. And speaking of which, I want to thank Facebook Live, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and those other folks that run our podcast. I want to thank Sinista1 Productions and our fine producer, Keith Hayes. I want to thank Glen Reen for coming on the show tonight. I want to thank the Cadillac Formula One team. I want to thank the producers of the film Die For, which will be coming out in theaters, in IMAX theaters soon. And I want to thank the ERA Racing Association and Jesse Iwuji. Most of all, I want to thank the folks who tuned in, listen to us every week. And we're back every week. So, Richard, have a good night. Jessica, have a good night. Paul, have a good night. You folks have a good night. Talk to you in a week. Good night.
Hey, I'm just gonna jump in here real quick, just to let you know that movie To Die For, they're actually doing a special screening in Daytona for Daytona weekend. So that's cool. Gonna be a lot of big talk. Heads up on that.
Cool.
Very
awesome.
Cool.
Yep.
Thanks for watching Drafting the Circuits. Make sure to follow Drafting the Circuits on Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Drafting the Circuits is a Co-Host Sinista1 Production.